if you're not living in an environment of constant change, because the rest of the world is disrupting everything else, and your business line that you think is so wonderful today is being disrupted from the outside. So if you are not now that way structured as a leader to be even disrupting yourself, even in a good, well-functioning company that is doing well, if you don't have the mindset that, okay, I know we're doing well today, but will we be doing well a year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now?
As I sum up this first interaction, just put it out there, I'm realizing that a lot of what we've shared, what has been impressed upon me, and I'm hoping what has been impressed upon the audience as well, is that even before you look at rolling out your group, your multinational strategy, you ought to have a leadership strategy as well. And oftentimes, we have our corporate retreats, we have our strategic planning sessions, and we speak about the initiatives, the objectives, and so forth. But do we then take a moment to really craft what's going to be the leadership approach that would lead to the effective execution of this particular strategy? And I think that is something that we miss quite often as leaders. And I want to encourage you guys to, as you continue to roll out your strategic plans, take a moment, do some self-reflection, do some introspection as well, and identify as a leader, what is going to be my strategic leadership approach with my team? What do I need to listen to more? Who do I need to have a conversation with to be able to implement these objectives successfully? It goes back to humility. And, it had me reminiscing, Andre, to be honest, on some experiences. I mean, I don't have the 17 years like you. I'm getting there. But the experiences that I've had and the interactions with different persons in different territories, having the opportunity as well to support different territories, all different cultures. But it always started for me with, well, what do you guys like? What is important to you? How can I incorporate that into our plans for this year? And that is something that I really want to encourage you as leaders to keep at the forefront, because it would make your workplaces a lot better for it. The employees will feel a lot more connected and a lot more included when we see that type of leadership approach. My final question for you, Andre, as we wrap things up, would be, what would you say are some of the non-negotiables when we're thinking about bridging those cultural gaps, leading multinational organizations? What are some non-negotiables that absolutely need to be present, need to exist to ensure that we have a well-running or well-functioning machine?
Non-negotiables. Okay. So, you should start with what is your company vision, mission, and strategic objective, and be able to articulate it in a way that is understood by all stakeholders. Remember the stakeholders I mentioned earlier, right? Which is staff, ownership, leaders, regulators, customers. Like once everybody kind of understands, like, this is who we are, right? And to get those values as well, as in who we are as an organization, this is who we are, right? And, in saying it, I don't want to come across as, we are a feel-good, we hold hands and sing down the yellow brick road type company. No, that's not what we want to achieve. We are very straight to the point. We believe in productivity. We believe in rewards and recognition. We believe in We believe in training. We believe in good leadership, effective communication, and let me say effective communication. Non-negotiable is working very hard at effective communication. And I say working very hard at it. Whatever your corporate strategy is, if you spend 5 days working on the strategy, you better spend 1 day working on the communication of it, right? Because that is where we fail.
Yeah.
We're so biased by what we understand when we speak about what we understand versus what other persons are going to hear, how they're going to feel, and how they're going to react, right? So that communication strategy of the change, communication strategy of who is to communicate, when are we to communicate, the timing, the why are we communicating the strategy, right? Like all of those things need to be very clear and to all stakeholders, right? How much does X person hear from Y person and when? And again, the who is important. Who is the one saying this thing? Okay. Do they want to hear from the CEO? Do they want the general manager? Do they want to hear from their own team member? Who is the best person to sell the idea? Right? That for me is non-negotiable, but it will never be perfect. Meaning it's just something that you constantly have to be working on, right? And the only way you know whether or not it is working is to solicit feedback, right? We had this meeting today. What were your takeaways from the meeting? Okay, what did we agree to? And we have that today, and then we also have a follow-up next week. And you pick 1 or 2 persons who you may trust to give you good feedback to say, okay, this is what we heard and this is how the people feel. And get yourself by the cooler as well, right? That cooler talk or the grapevine talk. Yes, you better be connected to the grapevine as well, right? And connection mean that you're not a facilitator. You're not the saucemonger, as in some territories we call it, right? You're not the person who is now, because building trust in the organization between all parties, that's a non-negotiable. But again, it's something that isn't. There is no yes, I am trusted, right? It is I may trust you in this moment, but it's something that we have to constantly be working on, right? And then even as leaders, I'll use a John Maxwell statement. Trust is loaned, it is not given. So here's the issue with corporate strategy now. So me, group director, has said to you, general manager, I'm delegating the authority to go and do X. Okay, cool. Is X being done in the way that I expected it to be done? The only way, because I've trusted you to go and do it, and you may have done it well 3 times, 10 times before, but are you still doing it well, or are you now this egotistical person who is now abusing the people, right? So now you need to have good corporate governance where I get that feedback to say, okay, Cara, yes, you've done well yesterday, but are you still doing well today? Because the trust that I have given to you is to execute this strategy. But are you executing this strategy in the manner by which it was predetermined at our directorship retreat? So what happens now is that why the trust is loaned is because I'm giving it to you today, but I'm going to follow up tomorrow to ensure that you still deserve that trust. Right? So again, there's so many, I would say, non-negotiables. And once you're dealing with people, it's not a perfect science. So you are going to get it wrong, probably more times than getting it right. But the only way you know if it's wrong is getting feedback and constantly evaluating, right? So,
correct. Wow.
A few of the things that you need to try. It's much easier said on this podcast than it is executed, but that's why you get a coach.
Yes, exactly. Touche. Totally agreed. Thank you so much. This has been so filling. It certainly has been for me, and I really hope that our listeners are also enjoying the conversation. But I also hope that from here, they will feel inspired to continue the conversation because that's what it's all about at the Culture Zone. We are trying to bring visibility to more and more of these particular topics, things that persons are sharing within their respective organizations, but really don't have a outside perspective. And hearing directly from persons like yourself, Andre, who are at the helm of these organizations and who understand the work that needs to be done to be able to balance cultures, to be able to ensure employees are feeling connected so that they can buy in to the vision of the organizations and execute effectively. And that's what we're doing here at Culture Zone, just giving you that visibility, giving you that perspective, encouraging leaders like ourselves to do better, to elevate our leadership standard, elevate our leadership approach. Because I really do believe, you can call me a hopeless romantic, I don't know, but I really do believe that there is hope for corporate organizations. There is hope for us to have positive cultures where persons feel as though they want to show up to work daily and enjoy what they're doing. And that's my biggest dream, my biggest hope is to see that manifest itself across the world in organizations today and beyond. So, Andre, thank you so much for joining me. It has been a pleasure. You started to touch governance there, and
The pleasure is all mine. I
thank
will say
you.
this
Yeah.
though, that your
Mhm.
dream, we do share it. Um, but what I've found is to have real significant impact is
Mhm.
we have to spend a lot more effort on the youth,
Yes.
right? The
Yes.
youth and who they are before they get into the these corporate
Yeah.
structures, because to break those habits, those cultures, those negative cultures, those behaviors, especially in the Caribbean, I'd find. I don't want to say among Black people as well, our own
Yeah.
insecurities, how we see ourselves. If we can break the back of it from much earlier, having a
Yeah.
positive mindset, then it translates so much easier in the corporate world, right? To change some of us hardwired, strong-willed, I'd refrain from using PG words. Um, to make those changes is very difficult,
Yeah.
right?
It
But
really
not
is.
impossible. But let's see
Yeah.
how much we can re-socialize our youth in the process. That's my
Yeah.
wish.
Yeah. Yeah. I totally agree. And as coaches, I guess we see it too as we interact with persons that are struggling with their own personal biases and how easy it is for them to hold straight to that comfort zone, to that old habit. I had a mentor once who would say it is easier to give birth than it is to raise the dead. And always,
I like that one.
that has
I like
always,
that one.
yeah, it stuck with
Consider it
me.
stolen. Or could
So
I say
like,
borrowed? I'll give it back to
can I
you later.
trademark that? Can I copyright that? No, or is it too late? But that
Yeah.
has always been, a part of my thought process when looking at change. Even as I support organizations today with change management and transformation, you have to identify where is it that you need to bury, and where is it that you need to give birth. And so I believe that together, and I'm sure there are many other persons out there that share the same dream as we do as well, we will continue these type of conversations until we start to see the necessary changes within the corporate world of today. Yes. So thank you so much, guys. That
No,
has
thank
been the
you.
Culture
Thank you.
Zone. Thank you so much, Audrey. Looking forward to having you again on another episode.
All right, let's make it happen.
Yes, definitely. Bye, everyone.